Of all the taxes that we have to pay as business owners, sales tax is by far the worst. It's managed by the state and the local government, so you potentially have 50 plus places that you need to register and pay sales tax in. But how do you know if you have to pay? Who do you pay? And how much are you supposed to pay? We'll start with the sales tax basics. Then I'm gonna show you how it applies to your Shopify store, and we'll finish everything up with a solution on how to solve all of it. Sales tax is charged on physical items. It's used to pay for things like roads, schools, and government projects. Each state has a base sales tax rate between 4 and about 7%. Then local governments like cities add a little bit of sales tax on top. Here's an example. California sales tax is 7.25%, but in Los Angeles, sales tax is 9.5%. They add an extra 2.25% on top of California. That means California wants to get paid 7.25% of every sale, and Los Angeles wants to get paid 2.25% of every sale for every single transaction. That's kind of a lot. But does everyone have to pay this? The short answer is no. Only people that are selling items in Los Angeles. But why? LA and California want to cut. They want a percentage of the money that these people are spending on your Shopify store. They see it as money leaving their state and they want their piece. So they tax you, and that tax is called sales tax. Okay, I get it, they want their money, but what qualifies an item for sales tax? It's honestly pretty simple. If you can hand the item to another person, it is eligible for sales tax. But if you're providing a service or labor, it's not eligible for sales tax. Let me give you an example. A mechanic in Los Angeles does an oil change. He charges for 3 things. He charges you for the oil filter, for the oil itself, and the labor to do the job. When you get the receipt, you'll see that there's been a 9.5% sales tax charge applied to the oil filter and the oil, but not to the labor. And that's because the oil filter and oil could be handed to you. They're physical items. Therefore, they are eligible for sales tax. So the labor won't have any sales tax applied to it at all. This is how you get the total at the bottom of your receipt. Sales tax has to be factored in. That's all well and good, Evan, but I'm not a mechanic. I sell stuff online through my Shopify store. What about me? Before I can get into how it works with Shopify, I need to explain one more thing, and that's a term called nexus. There are 2 types of nexuses, both physical and economic. The states use nexuses to determine which Shopify stores have to collect and pay sales tax. The physical nexus is where your business is located. Where are you headquartered? Where are you? Where's your LLC? Where's your inventory stored? Where is it being manufactured? Where are your workers? Where's your product shipped from? If you're headquartered in California, guess what? You have to collect and pay sales tax in California. If you are headquartered in Nevada, you have to collect and pay sales tax in Nevada. But what if you're headquartered in California and your inventory is stored in Wisconsin? You gotta register in California and Wisconsin. What if you're headquartered in California, but you're living in Texas and your inventory is in Florida? You have to register in all 3 states. Okay, that's manageable. I could probably handle registering and collecting and paying in 3 states, but I sell into every state. How does that work? The next nexus is an economic nexus. An economic nexus is triggered when your Shopify store sells into another state. But the states only care about people who are making real money. They don't care about the little fish. So they put an economic threshold in place, and that's called the economic nexus. If you sell more than $100,000 worth of product into a state in a calendar year, you trigger an economic nexus. So it's either 200 sales or $100,000 worth of stuff. When you reach that threshold, you have to register in that state, get a sales tax permit, file your taxes, and pay them every single month. But how do we figure that out? How do we, as Shopify sellers, understand where we're triggering a nexus? There's a report that you can run on Shopify that will show you a breakdown of all your customer addresses. You need to pull that report for the whole year, and you need to count. You gotta total it up. If you have more than $100,000 worth of sales going into a state, triggered. Wait, are you serious? I have to pull a report and look at the transactions just to figure this out? Yes. I'm serious. But there is an easier way, and that's using services and software. But I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's keep going. Yeah, but what about third-party marketplaces like Amazon, Etsy, and eBay? Well, there was legislation that was recently passed that requires places like Amazon, Etsy, and eBay to collect sales tax on your behalf, file it, and pay it. These marketplace facilitators, or third-party marketplaces, are responsible for handling all of it. So if you're selling on eBay, Etsy, Amazon, or any of these other like-type platforms, let's not worry about it for now. Shopify is the important one. So let's say you're like me, you're headquartered in California and you have an e-commerce business and you ship and sell items all over the United States. How do you collect sales tax for states you've triggered a nexus in? How does that work? There's a setting in Shopify that you can turn off and on. It looks like this. It allows you to collect sales tax only in the states that you've triggered an economic nexus in. Just remember, as you're collecting this money, it's not yours. It belongs to the government. So as much as this process sucks, you have to take that sales tax money and set it aside and put it in another account. In fact, it goes on your balance sheet as a liability, not as an asset, because it's something you're gonna have to pay out eventually. Okay, cool. I understand now how to collect sales tax through Shopify, but how do I register and pay the sales tax? Once you know what states you trigger an economic nexus in, you go to the state website, you submit your information to file for a reseller's permit or a sales tax permit, then you have to file, then you have to pay in every single state, every single month. Yes, you heard that right. Insane, right? It could be as many as 50 states a month that you have to do this process for. What a pain in the ass. How am I supposed to do that, Evan? I've got 100,000 things on my plate. I'm wearing 18 different hats in my business. You expect me to have time to do this? Yep, that reason right there is why it's in your best interest to get help with this process. I was spending hours every single month dealing with this, collecting the sales tax, submitting the filings, making sure I paid on time. It was ridiculous. Every single website was different. Every process was different. Every form was different. And the amounts varied considerably. It was an absolute nightmare. So I banged on my network, I reached out to mentors, and I hit up my coaches. How are you all dealing with sales tax? What I learned changed everything. They use software. They pay a little bit extra to have it completely removed from their to-do list. That blew my mind. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know there was software and businesses that could plug into your Shopify, look at all the transactions, and just handle it for you for a monthly fee. Are you kidding me? I was able to buy back so much of my time. I got hours and hours back. Headache disappeared and the stress levels dropped considerably. The service that I'm using is called Numeral. It's a service as a software company. They are literally changing the game when it comes to sales tax and e-commerce businesses like us. All that's left to do is click a few buttons, connect yourself to the different states, and Numeral will automatically calculate, file, and pay the sales tax on your behalf every single month for a flat fee. Look, I struggled with this stuff, and to be honest with you, it was one of my worst subjects. I thought I was gonna go to jail, I thought I was gonna get hit with penalties and fines, and I lost a little bit of sleep over it. So I made it my best subject. I poured myself into this sales tax thing so I could really understand it. And once I understood it and got to do it for a little while, I was able to choose the right solution that could help. My goal was to spend less than 5 minutes a month dealing with sales tax, and after I found Numeral, it became true. They send me a report, I click a few buttons, I approve the transactions, and I'm done. Every single month. I'll leave an affiliate link in the description below in case you want to check them out. If you like my style and the way I do things, consider checking out some of the other links in the description. I work with and teach e-commerce brands while I'm building up my own Scorch Marker. Otherwise, check out this video next. I think it'll help.